Yesterday, my Playseat Trophy got picked up by the wire, and now the Playseat Trophy has found its new home. It felt a bit strange seeing it leave because I've used that setup for over a year. I used the Playseat Trophy for over a year, and it had become a daily driver. And somehow not seeing it in the house kind of felt weird, but I needed to let it go so that I could make space for the new setup that's arriving. The reason I sold it was because I decided to upgrade to an aluminium profile rig. I purchased a Simex Pro X80 GT cockpit, but as I record this video, Playseat is gone and the Simex Pro is somewhere in transit. So basically I'm left without a rig at the moment, which means I've accidentally created a problem for myself. For the first time in over a year, I do not have a sim rig, and it feels weird because I don't know how to race. But that's exactly when I thought, oh, I had purchased the R5 bundle and I decided to dig out the old SR-P lights. They're right here, let me show you. I decided to dig these out from the box in the balcony, and I thought, why not get them out and get back to the desk and floor setup. Unfortunately, I cannot use the U-Sync World Sprints on the floor. They just wouldn't work. But this thing has a plate. It's pretty heavy, so I forgot how I was using them, but I think they should work. Now, when I first got into sim racing, I thought the setup was great, and I wasn't wrong. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But then curiosity got the best out of me. But after spending all that time with the Playseat Trophy, the U-Sync World Sprints, and a proper sim rig setups to get in and get out, I don't know how this is going to feel going backwards. Maybe it'll be better than I remember. Maybe I've just been spoiled. I don't know. Let's find out. So after saying goodbye to the trophy, of course, I was still wanting to do some racing. And while I waited for the new rig to arrive, I found the SR-P Lite bundle pedals and the mount as well, which I used to use. And surprisingly, everything was in still pretty decent condition. At that point, I thought, why not? Let's see what going back actually feels like. The problem was that I no longer had a rig, so I ended up building what I can be only described as a temporary disaster. The Secret Lab chair wasn't working for this experiment, so I got it replaced with the camping chair, which was outside. And the pedals were far away, so I grabbed an old laptop table to bring them closer. Nothing was mounted, so basically everything was just in air. Nothing was adjusted properly, and honestly it looked ridiculous, but I just wanted to test it and see if I can do a few races. The first thing I noticed is how much everything moved. The pedals weren't bolted down, so every time I hit the brakes, they wanted to take off. The pedal plate kept lifting. The wheelbase was mounted to the desk, and even though it was tight enough for a quick test, I didn't want to crank it down too hard and damage the desk. So suddenly there were moving parts everywhere. Then I started noticing things that I probably would not have noticed a year ago. When I was driving, the monitor was shaking while I was moving the steering. The microphone was shaking, as you may see in the video, and the wheelbase was also moving. None of these things would have bothered me when I first bought the R5 bundle. In fact, I probably didn't even notice them back then. I was so excited when I got this. That's the funny part about upgrading your setup, I guess. It's a blessing and a curse. The better your equipment gets, the more sensitive you become to these little compromises you used to accept without thinking. So I jumped into a short race, and just to see how everything felt while I was at it. And after about two laps, I crashed. And honestly, I was done before the crash happened. So yeah, the R5 actually surprised me on the desk. It's still as strong as it is back then. And the ES wheel is actually way better for desks than anything else, than the KS wheel. And there wasn't anything fundamentally wrong with the hardware itself. The problem was everything around it, the way I set it up. So yeah, everything went back in the box The SR-P lights went back in the box immediately, and everything else went in a bag, so I kept them for later to use them on the cockpit. So after about 2 laps, I decided the experiment is over. It's finished. Not because the R5 was bad or anything, or the desk setup is bad. It's just everything around it wasn't fixed. Everything was flying away, so it didn't really make sense and to put all the effort. Actually, it reminded me how good this bundle still is for the money. The problem wasn't the wheelbase, the problem wasn't the pedals, the problem was everything around them. My setup was not right. Once you've spent over a year in a dedicated sim rig, it's hard to go back. You start noticing every small vibration, every little movement, every little compromise. The SR-P lights are going back in the box, and I guess the waiting game goes on. It begins again. The X80 is somewhere between Netherlands and Austria at the minute, and I have refreshed the tracking page more than I should admit. For now, this corner looks pretty empty, and honestly, I do miss the trophy already. It wasn't perfect, but it did a great job for what it was designed to do. And now I'm ready for the next step. Let's just wait and until the sim rig arrives. And that's why I'm even making these videos. I'm not racing, so I thought, why not? Next time you see this corner in the next video, hopefully it looks a lot different. A little different, at least. Until then, see ya.